What happens when a world becomes so loud with evil that heaven goes silent? Before the flood, before the ark, before the rain, there was a world that had forgotten its creator. Genesis tells us, "The Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on the earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of the human heart was only evil all the time." Genesis 6:5. Violence filled the earth. Corruption spread like wildfire. Humanity multiplied, but righteousness did not, and God was grieved. The Lord regretted that he had made human beings on the earth, and his heart was deeply troubled. Genesis 6:6. But even in judgment, there was one man. This is the story of Noah, the man that built the ark. In a generation drowning in wickedness, Noah stood different. Noah was a righteous man, blameless among the people of his time, and he walked faithfully with God. Genesis 6:9. He wasn't perfect, but he was faithful. While others followed corruption, Noah followed God. And God spoke to him.
I am going to put an end to all people, for the earth is filled with violence because of them. I am surely going to destroy both them and the earth.
Imagine hearing that. Imagine being told that the world you know will end. But then came instruction. So make yourself an ark of cypress wood. Genesis 6:14. God gave exact dimensions. Length, 300 cubits. Width, 50 cubits. Height, 30 cubits. A massive structure, built not near an ocean, but on dry land. There had never been a flood like this. Some believe it had never even rained in that way before. Yet Noah built, day after day, year after year, hammering, cutting, carrying, while the world laughed, mocked, ignored the warning. Hebrews later tells us, by faith Noah, when warned about things not yet seen, in holy fear built an ark to save his family. Hebrews 11:7. Faith isn't believing when you see, it's building when you don't. And Noah obeyed. Genesis says it simply. Noah did everything just as God commanded him. Genesis 6:22. Then something remarkable happened. God said, "You are to bring into the ark 2 of all living creatures, male and female, to keep them alive with you." Genesis 6:19. And of the clean animals, 7 pairs. Imagine the sight. Lions walking beside lambs, elephants stepping slowly, birds circling overhead, pairs ordered, directed, creation responding to its creator, one by one. They entered the ark. Then God said, "Go into the ark, you and your whole family." Genesis 7:1. Noah entered with his wife, his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and their wives, 8 souls. And then the Lord shut him in. Genesis 7:16. Not Noah closing the door. God did. For 40 days the flood kept coming on the earth. Genesis 7:17. The sky broke open. The fountains of the great deep burst forth, and the floodgates of the heavens were opened. Genesis 7:11. Water from above, water from below. Rain fell relentlessly. The ground disappeared. Hills vanished. Mountains were covered. Every living thing outside the ark perished. Everything with breath, except those inside. The ark rose, lifted by judgment, carried by mercy. For 150 days, the waters prevailed. Genesis 7:24. Inside, darkness, the sound of animals, the constant rocking, waiting, trusting. Then one of the most beautiful verses in Scripture. But God remembered Noah. Genesis 8:1. Not that God had forgotten, but that he was about to act. A wind blew across the earth. The waters began to recede, slowly, month after month. The ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. Genesis 8:4. Still they waited. Noah sent out a raven. It flew back and forth. Then a dove. It returned. No place to land. 7 days later, again. This time it came back with an olive leaf. Life was returning. Hope was sprouting. 7 days later, the dove did not return. The earth was drying. After months inside the ark, God said, "Come out of the ark, you and your wife and your sons and their wives." Genesis 8:16. Imagine that first step. Fresh air, silence, a cleansed earth. The first thing Noah did was not build a house. He built an altar. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord. Genesis 8:20. Worship came before rebuilding. Gratitude before comfort. And the Lord said in his heart, "Never again will I curse the ground because of humans. Never again will I destroy all living creatures as I have done." Genesis 8:21. Seed time and harvest. Cold and heat. Summer and winter. Day and night would never cease. Then God made a covenant, not just with Noah, but with all living creatures. "I establish my covenant with you. Never again will all life be destroyed by the waters of a flood." Genesis 9:11. And he gave a sign. "I have set my rainbow in the clouds, and it will be the sign of the covenant between me and the earth." Genesis 9:13. Every time clouds gather, every time storms roll in, the rainbow appears, not as decoration, but as promise. Judgment would not have the final word. Mercy would. The story of Noah is not just about animals, or rain, or a boat. It is about obedience in a corrupt world. It is about faith before evidence. It is about salvation provided by God. There was only one ark, one door, and God shut it. Inside was safety. Outside was judgment. And just as Noah entered by faith, we are invited into salvation by faith. The flood came. The ark held. The waters receded. And hope stood on dry ground. Because even when the world falls apart, God preserves a remnant, and his promises still stand in the sky.
This is Bible Light Storytime channel, where Bible lessons are shared. If this video blessed you, like, comment, and subscribe. See you on the next one.
The world was lost in its own ways. Violence filled the earth those days. Hearts grew dark, no fear remained, and heaven watched through tears and rain. Every thought had turned to wrong, evil echoed loud and strong. But in the shadow of that land, one man chose to take his stand. Noah walked with holy light, faithful in a world of night. When God spoke, he bowed his head and built an ark like God had said. When the rain began to fall and the waters rose above it all, mercy sailed through judgment's weight. God was strong and God would save. 40 days the sky cried out, thunder roared with holy power. But in the storm, hope survived, 8 souls kept alive. Wood and hammer year by year, building faith while facing fear. Mocking voices filled the air, still he trusted God was there. Then the animals came 2 by 2, lions, lambs, the sky turned blue. Every creature found its place, led by unseen hands of grace. Then the door was closed by God, storm clouds gathered, lightning flashed. Heaven's fountains broke the deep, and rain began to weep. When the rain began to fall, the waters rose above it all. Mercy sailed through judgment's wave. God was strong and God would save. Now I'm enshrouded beneath the tide, yet in the ark was life inside. Through the storm, hope survived. 8 souls kept alive. But God remembered Noah's name, sent the wind and calmed the rain. Waters fell, the earth grew dry. A dove returned beneath the sky, an olive leaf and gentle beak, a promise to the small and weak. In color spread across the blue, a rainbow shining through. When the storm had passed away and the night turned into day, God placed mercy in the sky, a covenant that would not die. Never again would waters rise to wipe the earth before our eyes. For even when the world must bow, God keeps His promise now. Through the flood and through the flame, He is faithful, still the same. When the rain began, He held them in His hand.